It came when I least expected it. I had spent years convincing myself that I was over it, over him. After everything that happened, after the mess we had made of our lives, I thought I had moved on. I had buried those feelings deep inside, pretending that I had let go, pretending that I was stronger than the weight of the past. But it was never truly gone. I knew that, deep down. It was always there, hovering just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to resurface. And that moment came one quiet evening, long after I thought everything had settled. I remember that evening like it was yesterday. The soft hum of the street outside, the smell of fresh coffee still lingering in the air from an afternoon spent sitting in a cafe, and the sound of the clock ticking on the wall, each second passing, marking the passage of time. I was home alone, as usual. The life I had built for myself in the years since we parted was comfortable, stable. On the outside, it looked like I had it all together. I had a job I liked, a small group of friends, a routine that kept me busy. But there was always something missing. I had never quite found the peace I was searching for, not since he left. It was a simple phone call. I had no idea who was calling when I saw the name on the screen. It was just an unfamiliar number, one I had no reason to expect. At first, I thought nothing of it. It wasn't unusual for my phone to ring with calls I didn't recognize. In fact, I often ignored numbers I didn't know. I had gotten used to it, used to pretending that I didn't care about calls that came from places or people I wasn't interested in. But something stopped me that night. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was the strange, restless feeling that had been nagging me all day. I hesitated for just a moment before swiping the screen to answer. "Hello?" I said, my voice sounding uncertain even to me. I wasn't sure why, but I felt an odd sense of anticipation in my chest, like I was standing on the edge of something I couldn't quite grasp. The voice on the other end of the line was unfamiliar at first. It took a moment for the words to register, but when they did, I froze. "Hey, it's me," the voice said. I recognized it immediately. It was him. My heart skipped a beat. It had been years since I had heard his voice, years since we last spoke. But hearing it again, after all this time, it was like no time had passed at all. His voice still carried that same warmth, that same familiar tone that had once comforted me in ways I didn't fully understand. It was the same voice that had spoken my name in moments of laughter and in moments of pain. The voice that had been a constant in my life, even when everything else felt uncertain. The rush of memories hit me all at once. Our time together, the good and the bad, the love we had shared, and the wounds we had inflicted. The time we had spent together had felt like a lifetime. And yet, it felt like it was all behind me now, like it belonged to someone else's story. But here he was, pulling me back into it with just 3 words. "Hey, it's me." I didn't know how to respond. I wanted to say something, anything, to break the silence that had stretched out between us for so long. But the words wouldn't come. All I could do was stand there, listening to him on the other end of the line, my thoughts racing, my heart pounding. It took him a few moments to continue, and when he did, his voice sounded different. Softer, almost tentative, like he wasn't sure how to approach the conversation. I could hear it in his tone, the same uncertainty that I felt. "I know it's been a long time," he said. "I didn't expect you to answer, but I needed to talk to you." The words hung in the air between us. I wanted to scream, to ask him why he was calling, why now, why after all this time. But I couldn't. I was frozen, unsure of how to navigate the emotions that were flooding back. Part of me wanted to ask him what he wanted, to demand answers for the way things had ended, for the way he had left me with nothing but unanswered questions. But the other part of me, the part that still cared deeply, wanted to hear him out, wanted to understand why he was reaching out after all these years. "I don't know why I'm calling, honestly," he continued, his voice cracking slightly. "I don't know if you're even still angry with me or if you've moved on, but I had to say it. I couldn't keep living with this regret. I couldn't keep pretending that everything was fine." I closed my eyes, leaning back against the wall, letting the weight of his words wash over me. Regret. Of course, there was regret. How could there not be? We had left so much unsaid. There had been so much left unfinished between us. The way we ended, abrupt, without closure, like a door slammed shut in the middle of a conversation we had never fully had. I had always wondered if he regretted it. If he regretted leaving me without an explanation, without the decency to tell me why things had gone wrong. But now he was here on the other end of the line telling me that he regretted it, that he had been carrying that regret for all these years. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know if I was ready to hear it. But then, as if he could sense my hesitation, he added, I should have never let you go. I should have fought for us. And in that moment, I felt my heart crack open. The flood of emotions I had kept locked away for so long came rushing back, flooding me with a mixture of relief and sorrow. I had spent so many years convincing myself that I had moved on, that I had let go of him, of what we had. But hearing him say those words, it was like a dam had broken inside me. You shouldn't have called, I said, the words slipping out before I could stop them. You shouldn't have come back into my life like this. I regretted it the moment I said it. I didn't want to push him away. I didn't want to fight with him. But the truth was, I was scared. Scared of what he might say, scared of what it might mean if we started talking again. Scared of the possibility that I would fall back into the same patterns, the same heartbreak that had once torn me apart. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. And then, in a quiet voice, he replied, I know. I didn't expect this to be easy, but I needed to try. I needed you to know that I've never stopped thinking about you. The words hung there, suspended in the air, and for a moment I couldn't breathe. I wanted to say something, to tell him how much I still hurt, how much I had tried to forget, how much I had moved on and built a life without him. But when I opened my mouth, the words wouldn't come. Instead, all that came out was a sob I didn't even know I had been holding back. Why did you leave? I asked, my voice breaking. Why didn't you fight for us? He didn't answer right away. Instead, I could hear him breathing on the other end, the weight of the years between us pressing down on both of us. I thought I was doing the right thing, he said finally. I thought I was protecting you from myself, from the mess I had become. I didn't think you deserved the things I couldn't give you. I let out a shaky breath. But I wanted you. I wanted us. He was quiet for a long time, and then he whispered, I know. I didn't know what to say after that. The phone call, this unexpected reunion, had thrown me off balance. I had spent so many years convincing myself that I had moved on, that I had closed that chapter of my life. But now, hearing him speak, hearing the regret and the pain in his voice, it was impossible to ignore what had been left unsaid between us. I don't know what to do with this, I said finally. I don't know how to let go of what we had. I don't think either of us will ever fully let go, he replied. But maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't have to. We sat in silence after that, both of us wrapped in the weight of the conversation. It wasn't the closure I had expected. It wasn't the neat ending I had imagined. But somehow, it felt like the beginning of something new. Something neither of us had ever expected. As the minutes passed, I realized that I wasn't ready to let him back in. Not yet. I wasn't ready to reopen that door, to allow him to become a part of my life again. But for the first time in a long time, I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't resentful. I had carried the bitterness for so long, but now there was only the faintest echo of it left. I have to go, I said softly, breaking the silence. Okay, he replied, his voice tender. But thank you. Thank you for listening. And with that, the phone call ended. It wasn't the kind of ending I had imagined. It wasn't full of finality, of resolution. It was just a goodbye, one that was years overdue. But even though we didn't say the words out loud, we both knew something had shifted. Maybe we weren't ready to fix the past, but for the first time in years, we were no longer trapped by it. And maybe that was enough.